Hello, everyone. Welcome to another live demonstration of the offline environment. Today we'll be going over dependency scanning. It is April 9th, and Olivier will be the one doing the demonstration. Olivier, please feel free to take over.
Thanks, Todd. So let's get started. This is a scorecard we will be focusing on today. Dependency scanning has been already validated to some levels in the previous demos. We will focus today on validating each of the supported languages. We still have 2 or 3 that are not yet testable, but hopefully this will be solved within the end of the week or maybe next week. So we are in a pretty good shape, and we'll demonstrate that quickly. Just to go through the previous steps. So the step 1 is already a 5, so no need to go back to this one. The step 4 is about the documentation, which is not yet available because we're still building it by going through all of the different languages. There was also a fault with a step specific to, okay, so this is just a reminder that all of the sub-steps result might impact this one. If, for example, one of those languages cannot run, cannot be configured, this can be a 5. And step 3, we had an issue where we needed to rebase, but this is not specific to the airgap instance, and totally unrelated to our topic here. And there are pipeline failure, which are expected for Untitled.js. We will demonstrate that this has been fixed. But again, this is not specific to the step 3, and the performance concern is also not specific here. So I would just consider that we don't need to redo the full step, but instead making sure that all the languages are supported, unless someone is against that. All right, and for step 4, which is about showing results, this is again depending on having a 5 on all the others before putting a 5 here. So another request was to make sure we can see some vulnerability being reported with a severity different than unknown. This will be the case for some of the example there, but just as a reminder, some of those languages are only supported with the Gymnasium analyzer, which doesn't provide that information yet. There is a pending issue in 12.10, but as a stretch goal that will allow that. So maybe 12.10 or 13.0 will be able to provide the information for all the languages when the underlying scanner provided, obviously. So with that, let's get started with support for Java Maven. So in the case of Java Maven, we do leverage the custom Maven repository, which is built in within GitLab. This is a feature, and this is a project that doesn't work apparently. Another link. This is supposed to link to the documentation. Sorry about this. So we have the GitLab Maven repository, which is a feature that has been shipped for quite some time now, 11.3, which allows us to store Maven packages. So we will leverage this one, and we already have put some dependencies there. So I will go ahead and use this template project. And for the purpose of this demo, I will create a dedicated group. So we are E9. The reason why I'm creating a dedicated group is that I can easily fork all of the template project there without having any naming conflicts. Okay, and again, this is a quick workaround, but I'm just breaking the fork relationship so that when I'm creating a merge request, it doesn't open it for the original project, and but stay into this one. Okay, so we have this basic Java Maven project. There is a pom.xml file here which defines this dependency, which is a custom package that we have uploaded to another project within the GitLab instance, another project package registry. We have this specific GitLab settings that specify that it has to fetch its Maven dependencies from this repository, which is again provided by this environment variable, which gives this instance URL for the API, which will basically translate to that domain plus /API/v4. So we'll start and configure the get, oops, sorry, the wrong line. We're here. We configure the dependency scanning feature with the offline environment. So I'm leveraging these snippets again because the documentation is not fully written yet. I am just copy pasting this. So we are including the vendor template here and overriding some of the configuration for the purpose of supporting this offline environment. So we are disabling the Docker in Docker mode because the Docker in Docker mode is using an orchestration layer that I want to get rid of. And for the offline environment, we only provide the support for the non-Docker in Docker mode. We are also specifying that all the dependency scanning analyzer images will be found under this namespace. Again, CI registry is a variable filled by the runner that will map the current host here, and /analyzer being a group that we created to host all of those Docker images. Again, this is where we put the Docker images that we fetched from the GitLab.com registry and injected into the air-gap environment by whatever means the customer is using to inject data into that environment. These are specific settings for another analyzer that I don't need here because this is specific for JavaScript. This one is for the Gymnasium analyzer, which is the one we use for Maven. So I'm keeping them. And this one are for, sorry, I will show with my mouse, it would be easier. So this is specific to bundle audit for Ruby. This is specific for JavaScript, so I'm just commenting this out. And this is specific to Gymnasium analyzer, so for all the supported languages. This is specifying that we want the Gymnasium analyzer to leverage this database, which is one of the requirements that you need to inject into your air-gap environment. In this case, this is a GitLab repository that we've put into a dedicated project, again, on that air-gap instance. So you clone that repository and push it into your instance, and then tell the Gymnasium analyzer to leverage it. The Git SSL no verify option is to make sure that with self-signed certificate, you can still clone that repository because we don't yet have a support for this. So this is a workaround that has been told as acceptable for MVC. The next thing is specific to Maven, so we'll keep that one. It is overriding the dedicated job we have for Maven support. To explain this further, this is the vendor template for dependency scanning. It was originally made of this only job, which is called dependency scanning, which is the Docker in Docker version with the orchestration layer, spinning up new subcontainers for each languages. We're getting away from that. So instead, we have all of those specific jobs that are being defined here for each analyzer and languages. So for the case of supporting Java and Scala project, we have this specific job using this specific analyzer image. So we are overriding this specific job here to tell to use this specific image, which again is an image that has been made available within that instance. If I'm looking at that project, package registry, container registry, we can see that the Docker image is available here. We have multiple tags, and here we are using this specific one. And the reason here is that this is a specific image embedding an ongoing fix for Gymnasium Maven support. There is a link here. So this is a custom image based on this merge request bug fix, because Gymnasium Maven was leveraging some runtime dependencies installed on the fly, and we want to get rid of this. So this merge request is embedding that information into the Docker image instead. This is still being reviewed, but on good way because it's working, and we'll show that quickly. And then we have to override some Maven CLI options. -X is for debug. This is for specifying the specific GitLab settings XML file. And these are for disabling the SSL checks. Again, this is a workaround until we have a clean support for custom certificates. Then we are leveraging this variable to override, to specify a dedicated branch of the Gymnasium DB repository. The reason why we're doing this here is because the project that we are using is having a dependency that is a custom one that is not a public dependency with non-vulnerabilities. So what we did here is we created a dedicated branch in our database and specifically added a new non-vulnerability that is fake for this purpose about this package. So we say that in our database, we have a CV fake number here that impacts this package. And this is what the Gymnasium analyzer will leverage to report the vulnerabilities for this specific project. Again, this is just for the purpose of the demo. In the real example, we will have other real dependencies with real vulnerabilities, but it's quite difficult yet to upload a tons of dependency into the custom GitLab Maven repository. So this is just a shortcut, but if you need to have a more realistic approach and test, we can spend some more time to use real packages. And the last one is specific for Python, so I will just comment this out. And then we have the check I gave job, which is just our testing that verifies we cannot reach gitlab.com registry within this instance. So, any question about all those things that I just explained? Good. Then let's create a merge request for this. And we should now have this pipeline running. Checking quickly the script just in case. Yeah, so we have the two jobs running here. The check agap is leveraging an Alpine image that we injected into the agap environment, and we'll do the wget command. And here we are leveraging this custom image that we mentioned earlier. And this is running. I will just keep the gory details, but it's succeeding. And the check agap will fade to connect and will succeed too. All right, succeeded. So I just reload here, and I now have the security tab available showing the fake vulnerabilities that we added to the database, which is specifying that it is impacting that project with those fake identifiers and some fake links. Again, the severity is an unknown because this is coming from Gymnasium. But this is exactly the same behavior as we will have with real dependencies. And then on the merge request, we have the merge request widget that tells we have detected one vulnerability for the source branch only. The reason is that we don't have any report from the master branch. If you check the configuration page, you can see that dependency scanning is considered as not yet configured because there are no pipelines in the master branch having run the dependency scanning job. The dependency list is empty for the same reason, and the security dashboard again for the same reason. From this, I can see the same information, and I will just merge it so that it now runs on the master branch and go feed the dashboards, configuration page, and the dependency list. Sorry, I can show the configuration page. We should not tell that we have dependency scanning configured. Yep, show here. And then the dependency list has been fed with one component and one vulnerable component with this unknown vulnerability. And the dashboard should show it too. Yep, here we are. So again, from here you have the solution to manually upgrade to the next version, create an issue, dismiss, etc., etc. And the pipeline was successful because everything was fed into the dashboard. All right, so this is it for Java Maven. Any question on that one? Are you all agreeing with a 5 or a 4 because we don't have the documentation?
Yeah, it would max out because it's still snippets.
Yeah. I mean, obviously everything worked. I think the only thing is the documentation, as you mentioned. So if we're gonna leave it as a 4 for that, then I'm fine with a 4. But yeah, everything good.
All right, so moving on to the next one. That might be a bit boring. We'll redo the same thing again and again for all of the others, but I will explain less because you already know a lot about the process. So this is for JavaScript with NPM. We are using a custom NPM registry, which is based on the Verdicchio software. It has been set up into another VM in the same network, which is reachable from the outside on this hostname. And we have added specific egress rule to the AGAP instance so that it can reach out to this specific registry in the same way that we have done for license scanning, license compliance. We have this dedicated project here, which is a simple JavaScript project with some dependencies, just one, if I remember. Yeah, just one dependency here. And it's configured with this .npm rc file to tell npm to go fetch the dependency from that custom registry, which is our internal one, and disable SSL check, again, because we don't yet have full support for self-signed certificates. So back to the same workflow. I will just fork this one. And I don't remember how many times I've done that process.
Too many to count at this point.
So I have this project now forked into my own dedicated project. I will just open the web IDE and do the same configuration here, adding a new GitLab CI YAML file, pasting this. I still need the same base variable. I will keep those ones because this is a JavaScript project. I will keep Gymnasium because Gymnasium is also supporting those projects. And I will disable the rest because it doesn't matter here. For the purpose of the demo, I will just let it this way and we'll see that it's actually failing. So this will create 2 jobs now because we have 2 analyzers supporting that language. We have Gymnasium and Retire.js. So here they are. So the Gymnasium is still using the same Docker image. The Retire one is using the specific image. And as mentioned, this is a problem we had in the first demo. It's failing because it tries to reach out to this URL to get its private databases that we injected into the AGAP instance, but due to SSL check failure, the job is failing here. And for Gymnasium, it's working successfully. So what we've done since then is we upgraded the Retire.js analyzer to provide new options. The first one is we added this environment variable to tell Retire.js to fetch the advisory database in an insecure mode to disable the SSL check. So running the pipeline again. The Retire.js should now work.
And is the variable to run using insecure mode in the default snippet that you're copying? So it's going to end up in the documentation. Okay, yeah. Cool.
But we could go directly to the better option because here we have support officially tested and working, which is removing this and instead configuring the project, with this variable. So this is something that is currently being tested for each scanners. It has already been shipped into 12.9 if I remember correctly, but we have some bugs with this support. So this is a way to provide custom CSR bundle. This is a certificate for this air gap instance. So I'm just putting that into an environment variable into the project configuration. And by saving this, I could now rerun this job with the insecure being disabled. But first, showing that insecure mode is actually working now. And if I go to the pipeline, I now have the security tab showing those vulnerabilities. Those 3 ones are coming from Gymnasium with unknown severity. And this one with the low severity is coming from the Untitled.js tool. So you can see that both are working on reporting vulnerabilities. So now I will just close this and rerun with disabling insecure. And this should now work by leveraging the custom CSRs. I don't have access to the job. So going back to the merge request, the pipeline is running here. And I'm sure we're all glad that dependency scanning is way faster than license scanning.
Shots fired.
It's not fair because most of the functionality relies on scanning a static log file instead of having to fetch external things. So, and here we just have few dependencies, so it's way faster to install them. So here it's working again, but this time it's using the CI certificate. And we have the reports available in the security tab the same way. And in the merge request widget, which again still have this issue that it's failed if the pipeline is not fully complete. So I'm reloading now and it should load correctly. All right, so we have the 4 dependencies here. Again, same sets of information available. Well, this one is coming from Retire.js, which doesn't provide solutions. Those ones are coming from Gymnasium, which provides solutions. So kudos for ourselves. I'm going to merge that one so that it runs on the default branch now.
Well, quick question. So the CA cert fix, we expect that will make it into 12.10.
Yeah. What I'm doing here would be available in 12.10.
Okay.
So the way we implemented that was in a generic way that should work out of the box, but due to some specific usage of certificates, depending on some tools, the underlying tools that we're using, we are facing some issues and we need to adapt the tools to handle that in different ways. So thanks to the great engineers we have in the team, they already fixed that for some of the tools. So.
And will that special variable that needs to be created, there'll be a doc update for that as well, so that someone following will know how to do that?
Yeah, so we might figure out if we want to explain this further into the AirGap instance, the offline settings. Sorry, I think it would be a good thing, but this is already documented here.
Oh, it is. Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, no. It doesn't. It's not related to AirGap specifically, except that a lot of AirGap folks use that because they can't use public certs even when they want to.
It could be great to call this out in the AirGap, the offline environments.
Yeah. There might not be a bad just to have a link back, but okay, as long as it's documented somewhere so that I can point customers to it when 12.10 comes out, because I've definitely got a few that are excited about that one. So great, thanks.
And the insecure variable is not yet documented because it's still an ongoing fix, by the way. So we now have the pipeline running done on the master branch. So we should have the configuration, the dependency list, and the security dashboard showing that, yes, it is configured now. We have one component which is vulnerable, showing the 3 vulnerabilities. Again, this is a non-issue. Only the vulnerabilities coming from the Gymnasium analyzer are being shown into this dependency list page. And we have an open issue. This is not specific to the offline environment. This is a generic issue. And the security dashboard, which is now fed with what have been reported on the default branch. Again, the same 4 vulnerabilities. I didn't show that for the previous one. Again, the dismiss, create issue, all those features are really generic. So once you can see them into that dashboard, it should work seamlessly. I say should because, well, Molo. Murphy's Law. Murphy's Law, that's the same one. All right, so this is the bug to dependency list. As I was mentioning, is well known. There is already an issue field and currently planned for 13.0. All right, so are we agreeing that APM support is validated? At least at the same level of.
Yeah, definitely. It's same. Yeah, I think so.
I think this feedback was for the next line. So yeah, we are skipping, I didn't mention that, sorry. We are skipping Gradle, not available yet. We have to improve the testing and we have some challenges we are facing with it right now. So not available. Next one, which is Npa JavaScript with Yarn. So Yarn is a different package manager for JavaScript project. It's leveraging the same NPM registry again, but it's a different template project. So this one is leveraging a Yarn RC and NPM RC. I won't get into the details, but it's a bit flaky when it comes to fetching the dependencies from a custom registry. As you can see, the syntax, it's quite similar between the two, but not exactly the same. And depending on the environment, it might take one or the other. So just for the sake of simplicity, I added both. But other than that, it's the exact same project with still this Lodash dependency. So forking this one into my test group, removing the fork. And going back to the web ID to configure the environment. I should use that ND button, by the way. Copy file content. Yeah, that's a great feature. Okay, so we are testing JavaScript, so we still need those 2 ones. I will go ahead and check with the certificate version directly because this is the most expected way if you have a custom certificate. I still need Gymnasium to be set up. I don't need Bundler to be set up. I don't need those 2 extra overrides here. So commenting out this. I will not run the job immediately. I will first configure the environment variable with this custom certificate. Putting that here. So I need to save that before running the pipeline to make sure that it's grabbing this, this value. And committing this, creating a merge request from that. And looking at the pipeline again. So we still have the two analyzer, Gymnasium and Retire.js, which are the two analyzers for this language. It's following the exact same process then for the NPM project, but we'll leverage slightly different logic when it comes to installing the dependencies and when it comes to looking at the manifest file. So here you can see that it's using Yarn to install the dependencies, fetching the custom Retire.js advisory database, and completing with success. And here we have the same with Gymnasium. So it's working for both of them. Going back to the pipeline view to show the outcome in the security tab, we have the exact same 4 vulnerabilities for the Lodash dependency. And in the merge request widget, we have a loading error still because of this running gap job. Okay, successful now. So it should load correctly. And we have them here. So again, merging, showing configuration page, showing dependency. The configuration page stayed configured because it already cut the latest pipeline on master, caught the latest pipeline on master. The dependency list is empty because the pipeline is not completed and the security dashboard is empty for the same reason. So let's watch the pipeline on the master branch. So the check agap job is the longer one. Oh, it's not fair because it's starting after, because we only have 2 runners, but still. It's crazy how Gymnasium is fast. I can hear you laughing. That's not fun.
Olivier, I enjoy your humor.
This is an unrelated question, but since we have a second, I'm curious. So why do you fork it instead of just making that first project a template and then just creating a new project using the template?
Because the import feature is kind of broken in this airgap instance. I don't know why exactly, and we didn't have time to investigate on that. So we basically go with this workaround of fork and remove the fork relationship to avoid creating merge requests in the template project. But ideally, just an import actions would be better. But
yeah, I know imports working airgap because we use it all the time.
Yeah, it's just again this instance is
okay. I was just curious if, like, from something I don't know about GitLab perspective, like maybe there's actually a better use case, or something. So, thanks.
Because I like clicking on buttons.
I was gonna say you like clicking buttons.
So now that the pipeline is completed in master, we have the security dashboard filled with the same 4 vulnerabilities and the dependency list, again showing only the 3 vulnerabilities reported by Gymnasium. And we're good to go with JavaScript for Yarn.
Yep, same. Looks good.
All right, let's change our world and go to PHP. So PHP
Craziness.
So PHP doesn't require any specific custom registry because the way we are doing the analysis, we only leverage the log file, the manifest file. So we don't need to install any dependencies. So even if it is already existing into the offline environment of the customer, we don't leverage it. So there is no much more configuration to add for offline environment here. So this is a PHP composer file. So we have the composer.json and the composer.log file, which tells what are the exact dependencies being used by that project. So as you can see, a lot of interesting lines here. I will go ahead and fork it again and again and again. Right, I will open the web IDE and configure that. So This should be the same template we have here, creating a CI YAML file. I can disable, I should have disabled them by default. That would have been more handy. I don't need Gymnasium dependency scanning nor Python. I don't need member edits, custom settings. I just need the Gymnasium specific settings. By the way, I'm commenting them out, but I could just leave them. That wouldn't hurt. I would do that for the next ones. It's just for the to show you what are the relevant ones. So this could be handy because if a customer has a lot of different projects, it might be a bit boring to go to all the project and override this way. So this is maybe something we should put into the documentation, where you mentioned that to some customers is what they can do is create one unique GitLab CI YAML file in the project into their instance, put all of that configuration there, and then in each of the projects they say to include that specific one, which is faster.
Yeah, but by the way, one of my customers is actually doing it that way for the one that has done some workarounds to get some of these things working like several months ago. But yeah, it would be not bad to have that, a mention of that and a link to how to do that on that main page that Nicole did for just general air gap. I think it would be a good idea, and like reminding people they can create an instance level template that can be included.
Yeah, I think we have an ongoing issue to discuss how to improve that, because there are a lot of settings that we can put into maybe a dedicated template for offline environments. We have a discussion around this, and some of the configuration can be passed through environment variable. So if we manage to find a way to put everything into environment variable, then we need no file. They would just have like group level or instance level variable, which would be maybe easier. But anyway, post MVC. So this job for Gymnasium is successful. So we can look at the pipeline and security tab. We have a bunch of vulnerabilities being reported there. Again, all unknown because it's coming from Gymnasium, but there is a solution and a lot of other metadata available. And in the merge request widget, we also have this available here. And with the same information. So I will go ahead and merge that. Again, the configuration, dependency list, and security dashboard. So this is not configured because it found the new pipeline, and this is empty because the pipeline is not completed yet. I'm sorry, I'm going very fast. Please tell me if it's too fast. But well, Speedy Gonzalez, right? I'm sorry.
That's fine.
Wanted to say go home, but you're already there.
So check a gap. Quick. No, Gymnasium is faster than check a gap. That's awesome. Maybe we should.
What is the timeout, by the way, on that?
Yeah.
Is it like 30 seconds or is it a minute? What is it? Is that
I think it's 30 seconds by default. So
it feels like longer than 30 seconds. But it's fine if you didn't have the.
Well, everyone on the internet gets bored after about 2 seconds, so.
So yeah, Gymnasium took 18 seconds and this 150. So we now have this running on the master branch, so we can see this into the dependency list. So we have a lot of components here, and some of them are vulnerable, 3 of them actually, and with the vulnerability being shown here. And we have also this information available on the security dashboard here. And this is it for the PHP compiler support. Same outcome.
Good.
Cool. So now let's enter the Python world. No, I will skip. I will go back to this one because Python needs some more explanations. I will skip to the Ruby one. Again, this one is super easy because we don't need to set up any custom registry. This is also relying on scanning the log file, which is shipped within the project itself. So we have the gem file and gemfile.log, which is the main one we are leveraging here. So I will forget. Open the web IDE, copy paste the configuration into a new GitLab CI YAML file. So here we don't care about the retire settings, but I said I would let them just to make sure that it doesn't have any impact. We need the Gymnasium one. We need also this bundler audit specific stuff because this is for Ruby. So for this kind of project, we will have Gymnasium and bundler audit analyzer running. This is just telling the analyzer to fetch the database into this custom location, similarly to what we did for Gymnasium. We have the database that bundler audit is leveraging being injected into the offline instance the same way. So it's another repository that contains definitions for non-vulnerabilities. It also requires git SL no verify. Obviously, I just need to have this once into my file, but just to highlight the fact that if you are using bundler audit alone, you still need this, again, for the same reason, is to fetch this Git repository over HTTPS with a self-signed certificate. And I don't need those two, but I will list them. And I will commit that. I also can't wait to have this as default because I'm checking that box constantly, but it's coming. I know there is an ongoing issue about this one. This pipeline is running with the two jobs as mentioned, bundler audit and Gymnasium. So again, bundler audit is using this custom image set from this local Docker registry, and it's working. And same for Gymnasium, working here. So we'll just wait for the check air gap 30 seconds to fail. Anyone for another joke? I'm getting short on jokes.
Gymnasium's really fast. Have you guys noticed?
I don't have any jokes, but I will share that it's National Unicorn Day.
Oh. I don't have any in my own office.
So yeah, you apparently need some unicorns. My unicorns are all on the back of my laptop, which is not helpful because I can't really show you the back of my laptop.
Is that only in Canada or everywhere? It's national, right?
That's a good question. Skype is posting it because their mascot is a unicorn, and I'm not sure where they're based.
Got it.
All right, so until we get that answer, we can look at the pipeline because this is not completed. And oh, we have some high and medium vulnerabilities here. So these ones are coming from the bundler audit tool, and this one's coming from the Gymnasium tool again. For the same reasons, we don't have any severity available right now. And showing the merge request widget, we have the same information available here. So merging this, showing the configuration page. It's now configured, and this is empty because the pipeline is not completed. So looking at the pipelines now. On the master branch, and again, we have to wait a few minutes, seconds.
It always seems to put check air gap last. That's interesting, which is convenient because if it did with only two runners, it would be horrible to wait for that one and then have to wait for Gymnasium. But I wonder why it's always picking air gap last, check air gap last.
I don't know. I don't know about the rules.
There's no priority, right? Like the jobs within a single stage, it doesn't care, right?
Yeah. And we just have standard runners configured on that instance. We don't have like one dedicated. That could be a good trick to show you that our Gymnasium is faster, like having a a super fast runner just for this one. But we don't do that, I swear. All right, it's completed now. So the security dashboard dependency list should be now showing the information. So we have the 4 high, 2 medium, and the unknown here. Again, same features I can dismiss.
Can I ask a quick question before you leave the page? And this is unrelated to the air gap, so I apologize. But how come we don't summarize the unknowns at that same level there? Is that something that we're going to do in the future? I obviously I said nothing to do with air gap, nothing to do with this demo. I'm just kind of curious.
We did debate a lot on this one. We also had unknown and undefined. We are merging undefined and unknown, so we will also only have unknown. It's already shipped, I think, or it's going. But there is an open issue, I think, to reintroduce the unknown one. But feel free to discuss that further with.
Okay, I was just curious if there. I was just curious, like why, because then you can't just get like a total count.
Yeah.
But anyway, I guess that's neither here nor there. Sorry.
I feel like I miss a total count too. That's right. Good feedback. Thanks. And the dependency list, again, showing the vulnerable components here. And we are good to go with Ruby. Any question on Ruby? All right, so moving to Go. And I think I didn't test Go, did I? I don't remember. So the Go one also doesn't require, I will just read that. It doesn't require any custom repository because we are using the log file again. So the log file, this is only for Go modules. By the way, Go language comes with a plethora of different package managers that were created over time. And now the official one is Go modules using Go mod and Go sum files. And this is the one that we are currently supporting for dependency scanning. So forking that project. And opening the web IDE to configure dependency scanning. I don't need anything except this one because we only have Gymnasium supporting the Go language.
I'm assuming those other 2 jobs get ignored based on rules in the default template.
Exactly.
Yeah, what I thought. I just was confirming my assumption. You don't need to.
You asked me, so no, I need to. I have to show it.
Just confirming my assumption, but okay.
So yeah, all of those little jobs are getting triggered based on this rule, which is asking to have the CI project repository language variable to contain those following values.
Okay.
This is currently under some debates because this detection logic is slightly different from what we had into the Docker in Docker mode with the orchestration layer. It's simplistic and it's relying on something that only is updated when you're pushing new files on the master branch or the default branch. So this comes with some drawbacks. There are open issues. We can link them after.
No, you're good. I just was.
All right, so Gymnasium working with the Go project. Nothing specific to mention here except that it's leveraging this custom database that we injected into the AGAP instance and reloading. I should now have the merge request view. I will go to the pipeline view too, by the way. On the security tab, we have those 3 different vulnerabilities reported on the Go sum file, which is the manifest file for the Go package manager, Go modules package managers. And we have the information available here too. on the merge request widget. So merging is showing the configuration page. Dependency and dashboard are still empty, again, because it's not completed, and the dependency scanning is configured because the pipeline is already started. And come on, check that gap. So as you can see, when it just needs to pass a manifest file, the analysis is quite fast. I mean, I think it spent most of the time loading the Docker image and spinning up the environment. Obviously, when we come into the Maven world, the Python world, we sometimes need to rebuild the project, install the dependencies, and this is what is costing us the most of the time. All right, so reloading the dependency list, we should now have the list of components and the vulnerable ones here. And looking at the dashboard, reloading, I have the 3 vulnerabilities displayed there. And this is closing support for Go. And I will also state that Scala is not yet available for some other reasons, like a lot of stuff to bundle within the image of the analyzer. So this is being addressed. All right, it's 52. We have 3 minutes. I can start to demo Python, or do you want to delay those? I mean, it's a shame because it's already working, so we could show that it's working, but...
Well, it depends how fast is Gymnasium.
I think I spend more time into setting this up than having the analysis running. Let's try to do one, and unless you want to stop right now and discuss further other aspects. Your call.
Try and at least knock out like pip or pipend.
Sorry?
Yeah, let's try and just get at least one of the Pythons and see how fast it goes.
Okay.
Yeah,
because...
and we can follow up next week with another demo to finish it off.
Okay, so I just started with the Python pip one, copying the GitLab CI YAML. So in this case, we need this one. So we are overriding the Gymnasium Python job and adding this before script. This is something we are trying to improve so that we don't have to add this additional step here. But for now, we need it. So for the case of Python, we need to install to get access to the dependencies, at least for pip. For pip-env, I think we don't need it, but so we're using a custom pip registry, which is again available on this different VM, which has an egress rule to be reachable from the airgap instance. And we have the list of packages that have been installed into that instance here. And I have triggered that pipeline on the test project, which should be running right now. So we can see that it's looking to that specific index I was just showing. That's one, to get the dependencies, it's collecting them, building some stuff, and succeeding. So as you can see, it's taking a bit more time, 50 seconds here, because it's not as static as for the other languages. So we now have this information available in the pipeline tab and the security tab. Again, they are all unknown because they're coming from the Gymnasium tool. We have those available here too. I didn't mention that specifically, but again, all of the links, all the metadata that get links here to external website may not be available or may be available depending on how the network is configured for the hosts, the machines that your team members are leveraging in your company. So I'm merging that again. should show now that it's configured. Yep, and we are waiting for the pipeline to complete so that it's showing up on the dashboard and the dependency list. And I will go quickly to the people one. I'm not a runner, but I feel like I'm running.
Run faster.
And that should be a nonsense for you to see all the screens changing it. All right, so going back to the pipeline on master branch for Python pip, it's not completed. So the security dashboard is now showing those vulnerabilities. And the dependency list reloaded should show the same dependencies and vulnerabilities here. So we're good for pip.
Yep, looks good.
Cool. So Python pip. Oh, another way, to be honest, the simplest way to set up Python dependency. So it's leveraging two files, pip file and pipfile.lock, and it's using also this specific pip.conf file to fetch the dependencies from this custom registry here, and to trust it. It's like disabling this as a check. It's just that it's manually telling to trust it. So again, this might be improved with custom self-signed certificate. And I lost my file. Sorry, going back to the project and opening the web IDE to set up the dependency scanning job, the dependency scanning feature. I still need this override here because again, we need to take into consideration this pip.conf file. So the pipeline is now running, and again, generating Python job. So as you may have seen, sometimes we have a Gymnasium job, sometimes we have Gymnasium Python job. So Gymnasium is handling a lot of different languages that are what I would call static, which just rely on passing a static file in the repo. And for some languages like Gymnasium Python and Gymnasium Maven, we need to do some more logic to install the dependencies, and this is why we have separate analyzer for those two languages. So it's working there and showing that oh, it's not finished. Come on, check your gap. All right, so on the pipeline view, we have these two unknown vulnerabilities coming from the Gymnasium tool, Gymnasium analyzer, and reloading the merge requests. We now have this available in the widget. So we can merge them and go back, look at those pages. It's now shown as configured, and we'll wait for the pipeline to run to have the security dashboard and dependency list filled with data. And we lost Kevin.
Yeah, he had to drop for another call.
But I think we all agree that he would have said it's a 4-2, right? He will watch the recording and tell us afterwards.
Yeah, because I think that was the main problem is just the doc still. So we can share the recording and then update those 3 cells hopefully later today.
We, at our previous company, Mike and I used to work with this manager named Vulcan, who was great. And he had an interesting grading style. Someone would demo their stuff and he'd be like, great job, everybody, D-. And then it was always like this really nice compliment and then like D-. All right, F+, yeah, good, on to the next one. So Meg is doing his best not to channel Vulcan.
3 is the equivalent of the D- here. So great job. We're still at a 3 overall, but I'm looking forward to the next one.
All right, so it's now passing on the default branch. So reloading the dashboard, it should show those two vulnerabilities, and it is showing them. And the dependency list is showing this unique component here with the two vulnerabilities. So we are now good with Python with pip-env. And setup tools is not available yet. Correct me if I'm wrong, Igor. I kind of lost track about all those Python things.
No, it's not available because it can be configured to conform SSL.
All right, so we have several issues with Python because of the overlapping between dependency scanning and license compliance when it comes to Python support. Even if the same project, we have some kind of different requirements between the two features. So this is why it makes it a bit harder to test. But thanks a lot, Igor, for the great stuff you've done yesterday. And we've been able to demonstrate a lot today, thanks to your work. So thanks you again.
And it looks like for next week's demo, we basically would have to demo Gradle, setup tools, and Scala, and then hopefully have the docs up for some of the languages, and at least be able to push that a little bit further forward.
Yeah, I think we're in good shape to, even if it's not the final documentation, at least push a first merge request with what we have today that's working. And we can still update it later if we're improving.
Yeah, because there's going to be some specifics, I think, for some of the specific scanners. So if we can get the, generic part in an MR at least, and then, have placeholders for where to put the stuff when it's ready.
Cool. Showing the chart. This is it. Right, you have graded everything. We didn't grade this one, but I still think it's a 4 until the others are 5 at least. We cannot.
Well, last time it was 4, so yeah, I think it maxes out. Everything maxes out at 4 because we don't have docs and we haven't shown everything. So
Yeah, that's fine. All right. Anything else we need to cover before we end the recording? All right. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.
Thanks.